Thanksgiving at my parents' house was always loud. Football blasting from the living room TV, kitchen while somehow asking for to outsiders. A big American family celebrating tradition. You'd notice something, especially mine. I should have seen it coming. It was tradition. New iPads, expensive toys, Disney trips, cheap coloring books, last-minute gifts that still had price tags attached. It's not a big deal, especially when they're the only one being treated differently. She always noticed, this year, old enough to understand favoritism, and unfortunately, I almost skipped Thanksgiving entirely, but Emma begged me to go. That sentence alone broke my heart, so we went. The moment we walked into my parents' house, the performance had already started. Of course, then their kids. Loud excitement. When she finally looked at me, her smile changed slightly. Just colder. Oh, you made it. Emma stood beside me holding the pumpkin pie we brought. But the second Jason's youngest son walked in wearing a football jersey, oh my God, look at you. And right there, I already regretted coming. My parents worship success, not loyalty, money. Appearances, I failed. I didn't move into a giant suburban house. Kids running through hallways. My mother yelling at everyone to stay out of the help at the same time. It looked perfect. But if you stayed long enough, not all grandchildren were treated equally. And honestly, because in my family, favoritism wasn't subtle. Every year, my parents spoiled my brother's kids like royalty. Designer clothes, cash envelopes. Meanwhile, my daughter Emma usually got something forgettable. Dollar store crafts. And every year, I told myself the same lie. But kids notice everything, Emma noticed. Even when she pretended not to, she was 9 years old. Old enough to understand rejection. Old enough to get hurt by it. Honestly, I should have. Maybe Grandma will be nicer this year. Because no child should have to hope to be loved equally. And that decision changed everything. My mother hugged my brother Jason first. Then his wife. Long, dramatic hugs. Pictures immediately, not rude. More polite than loving. That was my greeting. My mother barely noticed. She practically screamed with joy. Emma slowly lowered her eyes. 5 minutes into dinner. Now, to understand my family, you need to understand one thing. Not kindness, success, status, and according to them, because unlike my brother, I didn't marry rich. I didn't become a corporate executive. I became a teacher, a single mother, and after my divorce 3 years earlier, I became the family disappointment. My brother Jason, meanwhile, golden child, luxury cars, private schools, country club memberships, everything my parents valued. And his children? Extensions of his success. Emma? She reminded them of me, which meant she never really had a chance. Dinner was uncomfortable as usual. My father barely spoke to me. My mother spent most of the evening bragging about Jason's new vacation home in Colorado. Then came the annual Thanksgiving tradition. The gifts. Every year after dinner, my mother handed out special appreciation gifts to the grandkids. She called it a family gratitude tradition. Honestly, it was just another opportunity to play favorites publicly. The living room exploded with excitement. The kids gathered around the fireplace. Phones came out for photos. My mother sat proudly beside a mountain of wrapped presents. And immediately, I noticed something. Every gift except one looked expensive. Huge boxes, designer bags, electronics. Then I saw Emma's gift. Small, thin, carelessly wrapped. My chest tightened instantly. Because I already knew. I already knew exactly how this night was going to end. My mother started calling names dramatically like she was hosting an awards show. Ethan? Jason's oldest grandson ripped open a brand new gaming console. Everyone cheered. Sophia. Designer jewelry. More cheering. Lucas. A new iPhone. The room exploded again. My brother laughed proudly while his wife recorded everything for social media. Then finally, my mother looked toward Emma. And Emma. The energy changed instantly. Subtly. But enough. Emma smiled nervously and walked forward. Still hopeful. Still innocent enough to believe maybe this year would be different. She opened the package carefully. And inside was a children's dictionary. Used, not even new. Used. I felt heat rush into my face instantly. At first, Emma tried to smile politely. Because she's kind. Too kind. But then Jason's youngest son held up the drone he just got. And the comparison became impossible to ignore. The room went awkwardly quiet. Then my mother laughed lightly and said, "Well, Emma likes books." No, Emma liked being treated like family. That's when I saw it. A small rip inside the dictionary cover. Someone else's name written in faded marker. This wasn't even bought for her. It was recycled. Something inside me snapped. Not because of the money, not because of the gift itself, but because of the message. You matter less. And the worst part? Everyone saw it. And nobody said anything. Emma looked up at me quietly and whispered, "It's okay, Mom." That destroyed me more than anything else. Because kids only say it's okay when they already know they're being treated unfairly. I stood up slowly. The room got silent immediately. Because deep down, everyone knew this had gone too far. My mother looked annoyed already. What? I picked up the dictionary calmly, turned it over, and showed everyone the faded name inside. This belonged to someone else. Silence. My mother rolled her eyes. "Oh, please, don't start drama tonight." Drama? My daughter being publicly treated like she mattered less was drama? Jason sighed loudly like I was embarrassing everyone. Classic Jason. Protect comfort. Ignore cruelty. Then my mother said the sentence that changed everything. "Well, maybe if you made better life choices." She glanced at Emma briefly. "Things would be different." The room froze. Because she didn't just insult me, she insulted my daughter. Emma heard it too. I saw the confusion in her eyes immediately. The hurt. The shame. And suddenly, I wasn't angry anymore. I was done. I looked at my mother for a long moment. Then at my father. Then at my brother. Nobody defended Emma. Not one person. That's when I realized something. This wasn't just favoritism. This was who they were. And honestly, I should have stopped chasing their approval years ago. I took Emma's hand gently. "We're leaving." My mother scoffed immediately. "Oh, here we go." But before I could walk away, my father spoke. For the first time all night. Wait. Everyone looked shocked, including me, because my father almost never interrupted my mother. Ever. He stood up slowly, walked toward the fireplace, then picked up one final wrapped box hidden behind the others. Small, simple, no fancy wrapping, and handed it directly to Emma. My mother looked confused instantly. "What is that?" My father ignored her. He looked only at Emma and softly said, "This one's from Grandpa." The room became painfully quiet. Emma looked at me uncertainly. I nodded slowly. "Go ahead, sweetheart." She opened it carefully. Inside was a key. Everyone frowned, including me. Then my father handed me an envelope. And when I opened it, my entire body froze, because inside was a deed to a house. Not just any house. My grandmother's lake house. The one property everyone in the family wanted. The house my mother promised would stay in the family forever. My hands started shaking. This can't be real." My father looked directly at me. "It's in Emma's name." The room exploded. "What?" Jason shouted immediately. My mother stood up so fast her wine glass tipped over. "You gave her the lake house?" My father stayed calm. For the first time in my life, he looked completely certain. "Yes." Jason laughed angrily. "You're joking." "No." My mother's face turned red instantly. "That house belongs to the family." My father looked at her coldly and said, "She is family." Silence. Real silence. The kind that changes relationships permanently. And then came the final blow. My father turned toward Emma, smiled softly, and said, "Because out of everyone in this room, you're the only one who says thank you every single year." My eyes filled instantly, because suddenly, I understood. He saw everything. All these years. He saw it all. And this wasn't just a gift. It was an apology. That Thanksgiving changed my family forever. Jason barely speaks to my father now. My mother called me manipulative for months. Apparently, being loved equally was now manipulation. But Emma? She stopped asking why Grandma loved the other grandkids more. Because she finally understood something important. Other people's favoritism does not define your worth. And my father, for the first time in my life, he chose us publicly. Sometimes the people who stay silent the longest end up saying the most powerful things. And sometimes, the smallest gift in the room changes everything.